The Invest in Africa Attractiveness 2014 Roundtable has been held in the financial capital of the world, London, where African investment and the key themes to attract more global foreign direct investments were discussed. Your Pan-African channel, VOX Africa, was part of the roundtable discussion.
As Africa has become a favorable emerging market commodity, with investors clamoring for new opportunities, the powerhouse global audit firm of Ernst & Young released its highly touted annual report on the continent's growth over the last year. The Invest in Africa initiative hosted a roundtable discussion at EY's London headquarters with a select number of invited industry insiders to launch its 100-page report.
With EY, they're one of our first partners a couple of years ago now when IAA first launched. And they were looking for like-minded companies as we were, who were committed to Africa for the long term.
I believe that that is from Ernst & Young, and I think that I'm excited about it. It gives us thumbs up as a country, as an investment destination, and it's exciting investors to look at Ghana as a lucrative destination with big opportunities.
Invest in Africa's mission is to create diversified growth and address the challenges of doing business in Africa. That was the basis for discussion around the report, authored by Mr. Michael Lalore. The 2014 Africa Executive Summary reveals a dramatic improvement in the continent's perceived attractiveness and reiterates that companies are successfully growing in Africa amidst a fluctuating overall perception of the continent.
Investors who are on the continent obviously recognize that a lot of these are simply just myths, that actually the perception of corruption sometimes is worse than the reality. The statistic from the report, it shows that 51% of those people who are sitting on the sideline believe that in the next 5 years that Africa will become an investable destination.
With roundtable attendees invited based on their African business practices, it was no surprise that questions were raised about unmentioned core sectors. Debate was sparked around the best types of investments in Africa, and concern was voiced about foreign companies' failure to pay tax and that impact on local economies.
African governments, from a policy point of view, have the requirement, the responsibility to make sure when they are making investment attractive to external parties, that they have the obligation and the responsibility to African peoples to make sure that they charge and collect tax. $56 billion leaked out of African economies in 2012.
Africa is now the second most attractive investment interest in the world, only behind North America. EY's Africa report is expected to be downloaded over 5 million times and will shed light on the continent's continued push to become the leading destination for investments.
But a real positive is inter-African trade, because I think inter-African trade is what will drive its future growth. It's a vote of confidence from Africans in Africa, which is critical, but it also means that you can start to see hubs taking off and you can start to see regions that will give foreign investors confidence to make those first steps.